Let's make this beautiful daffodil. It's made out of silk ribbon, and I'm going to show you the ribbon and the dimensions, and we'll start to make it. I used yellow silk ribbon for all of the petals. I used white ribbon for the inside, and then for the highlight I used the orange. So the yellow is a 1.5 inch wide ribbon, and this is 3.5 inches in. Then for the white piece, which gathers on top of the yellow, this is 6.5 inches, and this is a 5/8 inch wide ribbon. This one, the orange, is 2.5 inches in length, and this is 7/8 inch. Now these are the standards that work really well. If you have others that you can change, that's fine with me. Whatever works for you is what's going to help a lot. So we've got the ribbon. We have what's called buckram, which is a very stiff and kind of a very loose weave, almost starched cotton that I used, that I attach all of these to. And then it makes it so much easier when you're working with all these little pieces. They all attach together, and then this gets attached to either your quilt or your purse or your garment, whatever you're going to use this for. These are the different threads that match with the colors that we're going to be using. I also use silk pins. You'll see a lot of demonstrations with people making these silk flowers, and then what they do is, because the edges of the silk can unravel, they will put it under a heat source. Like they'll have a small lighter of some sort, wave it back and forth, and then that seals it. That's fine. I prefer not to do that, because some of these things that I teach to children, and that certainly isn't helpful. So whenever I'm doing these particular silk flowers using silk ribbon or even silk or polyester fabric, I will use my pinking scissors. It does the same thing. It keeps it from unraveling, and it's a whole lot safer. So that's a must for me. This, the buckram, to attach everything to, is a must for me. And the final thing that is a must is what's called thread magic. And what it is it's a wax. And when I put my needle and thread together, in order to reduce the friction that comes off of the thread, I just very gently run the thread through this. And it's a lifesaver. I love, love, love working with this thread magic. So those are all the things that we have. I use a number 5 embroidery needle because it has a large eyelet, and it doesn't leave any large puncture marks on the ribbon. So I'm going to move these aside, put them over here, and we're going to start with making the petals. First thing you do is fold it in half and just give it a hand pinch at the top. What you're doing here is you're finding where the center is on this 3 inches of ribbon. Now I put my thumb on that mark, and I'm making a very sharp, very clean fold down from that point. And if you don't know how to do that, just follow one of the lines on, say, your cutting mat. And because it's not going to stay, but I need it to stay, I'm going to pin that. Okay, so I've got one down. Actually, that's not straight. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to pinch it in the halfway point. I'm going to fold it straight down, and I'm going to pin it so it'll stay there. It'll stay there until I sew it. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And I'm going to pin this one. And so now you can see that I have folded it, made my mark in the middle, folded it, and they're side by side. Okay? And I'm going to do this one more time for you so you can see it. You'll do this on all 5 of these. Fold it in half. Give it a pinch, just so I can see where the center point is. And where that mark is right there, I'm going to come completely straight down. Use a pin. Pin it down. Do the same thing on this side. Give it a little bit of a press. And come down. I'm going to do this on all 5 of the petals. Okay, I've got all 5 done. Got them pinned down. Makes it a lot easier to gather it when I've got it pinned down. Now, I'll consider this to be the back side and this to be the front side, because this is the front and the seam and the ribbon is in the back. So from the back, I'm going to do a straight stitch all the way across, and I'm going to gather. So it's your choice, but I like to go, usually I will do like 1/4 of an inch between each of my stitches. And having the pin keeping it down, it just makes it so much easier to be able to get this all gathered in one smooth motion. Take the pins out. Bring this thread all the way through. And gather it. Play with it a little bit so that you get the shape that you want. Make sure that it's nice and clean. Looks like a little petal. And we're going to tie this off. I usually wrap it a couple times just to keep it secure. And then I'm going to do a knot a couple of times. 1 and 2. Cut my thread. Now, I can trim this down here if I choose or need to later when we start to work with putting all the petals together. But for right now, let's just set it aside and continue doing this with all 5 of the petals. I'm going to show you one more time how we do this. You're going to stitch across the straight line. I use about 1/4 of an inch stitch, but you use whatever you're comfortable with. Once you've gone from one end to the other end, remove the pins, shape the petal, and gather it at the bottom. I pinch it to hold it together while I wrap it 2 or 3 times and then tie off the thread. You should be done with your first petal. I'm going to pull out the buckram. I cut that to about a 1 inch by 1 inch. Here's one that's a 1 inch by 1 inch. And the goal here is to start in the center and to tack these down, creating a circle all the way around. So I'm going to come from the back end of the buckram on the back end, pull it through, and I'm going to tack it down, probably 2 times. You can adjust this as you go. As you start to get more of the petals here, you'll understand, oh, I can do a little bit more maneuvering when I get more of them here. So I'm going to lay the second one right next to it. I'm pressing down right here to kind of flatten where all that bulk is. I'm underneath, and I'm going to come up right about where I tied all the knots. I don't like that one. Let's move this down. You can really come up even above the knot, like the knot's right there. Come above it or below it. Either way, just so you tack it down to the buckram. And tack it down again. I think I might do one more over here on this one side. Going through a lot of layers there. Okay, got that. Come back down. Pick up the next one. That looks pretty good, like right there. Come back up and tack it down. And then we just do this all the way around, tacking down all 5 petals onto the buckram. Buckram is kind of like, did you ever see West Side Story, or have you ever gone to a play where you've seen that the costumes have a pretty good flair to them? They're pretty, they can flare out. That is a product that's called Kremlin, and it's also buckram. It's a fabric that is used is very, very stiff. And if you gather a lot of it together, it can be an underskirt or a petticoat, if you will, to the heavy fabrics that are sometimes used when they're doing plays of certain histories where the dresses were very elegantly put together and they flared out. And it's really just a great product to have and to know how to use it. I really like using it in this case because it stabilizes everything. I'm not trying to handle 10 different things at one time. Okay, now I've got the last one there, and isn't that pretty? And so I'm going to tie this last one down, and then we'll go to do the white ruffle that's going to gather in the center of our beautiful flower. Please go to part 2, daffodils, so that you can complete your daffodil. Thank you. Okay, and I've got it all tied down. If you liked this video, I hope that you will subscribe. I thoroughly enjoyed making it for you, and I hope that you got something out of it. Also, when you subscribe, you really do help our channel a lot. It helps us to continue to bring to you the very best in art quilting techniques, designs, and artists. Thank you again for watching.